What? No!
You suck! Oh my God!
Welcome back. This is What the Suck Podcast. I'm Chris.
Hey, and I'm James.
Today's movie is Clowntergeist, and yes, it's as bad as it sounds.
Worse.
Yeah.
The general synopsis, ladies and gentlemen. Emma, a college student with crippling fear of clowns, must come face to face with her worst fear. I hate when they do this. They overword things.
Yeah.
Basically, she needs to come face to face with her worst fear when an evil spirit inhabits the body of a killer clown summoned to terrorize the town she calls home.
So, just a quick history. This was released in September 2017.
They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Distributed by High Octane Pictures. Written and directed by Aaron Mertes. Or Mertz, however you want to say his damn name.
Well, whatever his name's pronounced, he's the one responsible for this piece of shit.
The Rotten Tomato score is 0% out of 5 reviews. No surprise there.
Yes.
The user score on Rotten Tomatoes is 28% out of 58 views. So that means it's actually worse than Murder Party.
That means about 12 bozos out there thought this was a good motion picture.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, well.
Yeah, there's always...
Bozo.
Thank you. He'll be here all night.
That's right.
So just a quick little... just to kind of get this out, the reminder. So, Clowntergeist. Yes. It's a play off Poltergeist. And so what is Poltergeist? Well, a Geist is German for spirit of an individual or group. Poltergeist is a ghost or other supernatural being supposedly responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises and objects thrown around. Typically you see this in preteen adolescent girls who are very, very sensitive. And a lot of poltergeist activity has happened, and it usually ends when the preteen girl comes of age. So it can last anywhere from 1 year to 2 or 3 years. So just keep that in mind as we go through the review and break down why they decided to call this Clowntergeist.
Or why they even decided to make this wonderful motion picture.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get on with the review. Before we do, let's see, James, anything going on in your side of the neck of the woods?
Not really, Chris.
Everything's going good. How's the Facebook going?
The Facebook is going good. We're over 400 followers now.
Fantastic.
We appreciate that.
Fantastic.
We've only been at this a couple of weeks. We do appreciate the support. You can find us on Facebook at What the Suck Podcast. Look us up.
We're also on Spotify now.
We are on Spotify.
We are also on iTunes.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
What the Suck Podcast. Be sure to go review and rate us on iTunes, because the more rates we get, the more reviews we get, the higher up on the list we get. So,
and we appreciate the input.
Yeah, and leave comments, leave suggestions, leave any movie that you guys want us to see, review. Please let us know. We'll be happy to take a look. Other than that, are we on Twitter yet?
We are not on Twitter, and we are not on Instagram yet, but we will be very soon.
Okay, cool, very cool. In the meantime, you can find us on Facebook for sure and iTunes for sure. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's begin the review. We'll
notice the long pause and the heavy breath,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, because we're basically bracing for impact. This one kind of hurts.
Hold on to your butts.
Not to touch anything, but I was wondering if I could cover the clown statue that's in the corner of the living room.
Get out of the house, now. I'll call the police.
Why?
We don't have a clown statue.
Whoever did this left balloons just like that with my daughter. Every one of them had a date and time written on it. What date did it say on your balloon?
Thursday, 2:31 a.m.
Then you have 2 days to come up with a plan. He's demonic. He's possessed, but there was never an exorcism.
So if we shoot him...
Then the demon leaves his body and he's dead.
What he say? He wants to make me bait. He wants to just put me out there so that the clown can get me and then he'll shoot. I'm not doing it.
Local police have issued an 11 o'clock curfew, so be sure to get home quickly and safely.
To kill it.
All right, so what does this? Who stars in this shitfest?
Well, let's give credit where it's due. This is like brilliant acting, folks.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Let's list out this cadre of thespians.
Yes, indeed. We have the talented and lovely Brenda Bellin as Emma, the nerdy but cute Monica Baker as Heather. Dude, Sean Patrick Murray as Jonah.
Also kind of cute.
Now, the star of the show, the main man, the dude himself, Mr. Eric Corbin stars as Ribcage the Clown.
Ribcage, a.k.a. Birdcage, a.k.a. McRib the Clown.
Then we have Burt Culver as Mr. Randall. Just Mr. Randall, not even a first name. They didn't have it in the
I
budget.
think his first name is Hat.
Yeah, crossbow, hat, whatever. Tom Seldman as Pops, the creepy ice cream man. Katie Runger as the obnoxious customer. Jesse Mendelson as the clueless customer. And John J. Fatih as the sheriff. But my favorite star of the show, the one that makes the whole thing worth it, starring as the stoner roommate, we have a Miss Madeline Heil. Dude.
Yeah, man. Like, this is awesome, bro. Yeah.
Like, wow,
Yeah.
man.
Can you, like, help me with this, man? Dave's not here, man.
Yes.
All right, so
Let's roll from
the
here.
movie
Yeah.
starts off with this girl spitting up blood in her sink. Her dad's downstairs freaking out, worried about her. Tells her it's gonna be okay. She obviously, I don't understand how, if his daughter is spitting up blood in the sink, I guess he doesn't see her doing that.
No.
She's in the bathroom freaking out. So he goes downstairs, and for some reason he has a crossbow. This pitiful little crossbow that I think he got from Toys R Us before they went bankrupt. And he's sitting down there and pans up. You see a bunch of balloons. I guess it's gonna be her party or whatever. She goes in her room and starts packing her shit. She calls her uncle, says she's going over to her uncle's house. As she leaves, you see it pans to a balloon that says, I forget what the date was, but it says 2/17 or 9/17. I don't know what the fuck it says. It says sometime.
Sometime.
Yeah, you get the idea that apparently something bad's going to happen at that date, at that time. And it's regarding her. So she's freaking out.
Okay, first of all, why is she not freaking about vomiting and spitting up blood?
Yeah, why is she okay with that? She seems very calm.
Not even explained. She's way too calm.
Oh, I think I know why. It's bad acting.
Horrible.
Bad direction, bad acting.
Horrible.
So she goes to her uncle's house. She calls him, says she's going to stay there for a while. He's like, fine, we're not home, but we'll be home later. Make yourself at home. But he says not to touch anything in the house. So you're like, what the fuck does that mean? She gets there. He has a bunch of like decorations and just shit in his house, animal taxidermy and other stuff. Basically setting him up to be like sort of the, I don't know, not kooky, but just eccentric uncle.
Yeah.
Also, they can pay off with what's going to happen in a bit. Anyway, so while she's there, the lights go out. She calls him up, asking for a breaker box. He says, yeah, it's down the end of the hall, or in the basement, down the end of the hall. Obviously, in this long, dark hallway.
Always got to be in the basement at the end of this long, dark hall.
And so as she starts heading there, you start seeing glimpses of actual poltergeist activity, like a chair moving and doors moving.
Why can't the breaker box be on the outside of the house? This was made in 2017.
Yeah.
Breaker boxes aren't in the basement anymore.
Mine's in the garage.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's
inside.
It's on ground level.
Yeah. But then again, we don't have basements in Texas, so this is obviously up northwest or something,
I
northeast.
suppose.
So she eventually finds the breaker box after a bunch of ridiculous jump scares that were easily.
Best way to put it is they're very easily detectable. They're obvious. You can hear it coming. Stupid, obvious build-up music. Just all kinds of mess.
There's a particular word that's called
Telegraphed?
telegraphed. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a bunch of ridiculous scares that are telegraphed way in advance, and she gets the lights turned back on. And after that happens, she notices there's some sort of weird clown-looking statue in the corner, and so she calls her uncle to ask if she can cover up the statue because it scares her. And he's like, what are you talking about? She says, the statue in the corner, and she doesn't like it. She goes, and so he says, predictably, he says, get out of the house. I'll call the police.
We don't have a clown
statue. Then the clown does a quick jump at her, and this horrible shrieking stock sound effect that they picked up from somewhere plays, and it's so loud, it's so obnoxious. And what really bothers me is that they decided to go with a famous creepypasta, as the beginning of their film. That's not a good sign. I mean, if the film was called Urban Legend, which they already have a series of Urban Legend films, or creepypasta, I get that. But this is called Clowntergeist, and yet they decide to go with one of the earliest, I think, and one of the more famous creepypastas. It's called The Angel. It goes, a few years ago, a mother and father decided they needed a break, so they wanted to head out for a night on the town. They called their most trusted babysitter. When the babysitter arrived, the two children were already fast asleep in the bed, so the babysitter just got to sit around and make sure everything was okay with the children. Later that night, the babysitter got bored and went to watch TV, but she couldn't watch it downstairs because they did not have cable downstairs. The parents didn't want children watching too much garbage like Clowntergeist.
Yes, Jesus.
So she called them and asked them if she could watch cable in the parents' room. Of course, the parents said it was okay, but the babysitter had one final request. She asked if she could cover up the angel statue outside the bedroom window with a blanket or a cloth. At the very least, close the blinds because it made her nervous. The phone line was silent for a moment, and the father who was talking to the babysitter at the time said, "Take the children and get out of the house. We will call the police. We do not have an angel statue." So, that is the famous creepypasta from years back. And so they decided to tweak it to make it fit their narrative.
So they basically jumped the shark before the even opening credits.
Mm-hmm. Even before the opening credits.
Damn.
So then you get the next scene of the infamous hippie neighbor.
Ah, yes, the hippie neighbor. Actually, the hippie roommate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Neighbors.
Yep, the stoner roommate moving out.
Uh-huh.
And let's see, what do they do there? They throw her out, basically, because she's leaving. They need to find somebody else, blah, blah, blah. She's like, the whole time, dude, I got to go and all this other stuff. She asks for a box. She hands her an empty box. Here, can you help me with this? So they just kick it off the porch and tell her to get lost. She's like, cool, thanks. And she leaves.
Let's go back. I forgot. Let's start with the first of our continuity errors that we noticed.
Okay.
When the girl was leaving to go to her uncle's house.
Yeah.
She was pulling out of the driveway backwards. She was reversing out of the driveway. But
this is correct.
It cuts to a shot of the street, and when she comes out, she's already going forward, even though she never backed out all the way.
Very poor.
So, continuity error 1. The next one's coming up now with the babysitter scene. So go on, continue.
With the babysitter scene. Okay, you threw me off, bro.
Sorry. So
that's okay. Trust me, it's hard to stay focused as
after they kick her out, they go inside and they make fun of her, and then there's a bunch of exposition that comes up, basically setting up backstory that doesn't really need to pay off or whatever, but talking about how the main girl who plays, what's her face again? Not Heather, but the other girl, Emma. Emma needs to get another. They need to get another roommate so that she can afford to stay in the house. Or no, she needs to pass the class in order to stay in college. And they need to get another roommate or some shit. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, it's exposition dump. But you noticed a continuity error.
Yes, I did.
With Emma's hair.
Emma's hair. First scene shows her when she's getting ready to go. She bundles it up. She has shoulder-length bobbed hair.
Mm-hmm.
Mysteriously, in the next scene, after they kick out the stoner, comes the ice cream shop where they all work.
Yes.
They're all hanging out. Everybody's in there like, what's up, man?
Yes.
You know, it's typical bunch of teenagers.
This is where you get all those the two customers that were credited on IMDb.
Exactly. And mysteriously, her hair has grown like a foot.
Yeah, it's now past her
So,
shoulders all of a sudden.
Apparently there were some reshoots, very noticeable stuff.
Either reshoots or the beginning, which to me feels more like it's tacked on, was added later. And by then, the actress had already cut her hair for another job.
Yeah, and I want to ask one quick question.
Yeah.
You know, why do women ask why when men ask them to do something? Like when he told her to get out of the house, she just stood there. Just act.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But now your dumbass is dead.
Yeah.
You get bum rushed by a clown. You're out of there.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't get it.
Just get out.
And then we have the sheriff coming in with his British accent, of course.
And his...
What's it? The Dollar Tree.
The Dollar Tree badge on his
badge.
blue short sleeve button up. He looked like a mall security guard, but he's the only cop apparently in town, and the sheriff
In the entire town.
to boot.
Yes. And naturally, they tell them, hey, you know, somebody's been killed. Everybody's like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, they're,
really?
they're way too excited about a manhunt for a possible killer in town.
And they tell them to get out because there's now been a curfew
imposed on the town.
imposed on the town.
Yeah.
And naturally, millennials always have to question everything.
Yes.
So when they say go home, they just sit there and they joke and they just sit around like a bunch of idiots.
So you got that one bitch who's credited as the customer. She's wearing sunglasses even though it's like 9:00 at night. Why the fuck is she? And so first of all, why is she wearing sunglasses at night? Second
Well, she
of
probably
all,
bought weed from the roommate. You know, she's probably high.
probably, but why? Then why is she questioning? You don't get to question when you wear sunglasses at night because you're a dumbass.
I guess just stupid.
Yeah.
You know.
So
Okay.
what happens next?
Okay.
All right.
Now, once they're told to leave, people start filtering out. But the young man in charge of the place says, we're not going anywhere. We stay open in tornadoes, hurricanes, zombie apocalypse. We do
Serial
not
killers,
close the store. We
whatever.
don't care.
We're
And
staying
they're all
open.
sitting around laughing, smiling. Really, dude? You know, there's a manhunt on for a killer, and they're just sitting there chilling out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just pathetic. Pathetic. Sorry acting.
Yeah, the acting is terrible.
It's
the-
painfully horrible.
The script is so bad. Like it doesn't. I don't know if he even went to film school or if he just skipped the class about writing a script or the story's by him and some other dude, Ben something. But like, there's two people.
Yep.
Two people. Normally, when two people write a script, they bounce ideas off another and they use each other to sort of keep each other in check and say, okay, you know, they want to put this in, but the other person said it doesn't flow, doesn't go with the narrative, so let's take it out, let's do this instead, and back and forth like that until they hopefully get a cohesive script going together with the two of them. These guys seem like just a couple of college buddies who wanted to do whatever the fuck they wanted, which is fine. I applaud that, but it didn't work. It's badly written. It's poorly acted. The directing is terrible so far.
But I will say, of all the movies we have watched so far, it has the best cinematography.
Yeah,
quote unquote. It does have.
It looks like a film.
They were actually able to afford a real
Yeah.
camera. It looks like so.
It doesn't look like it was shot on either a GoPro or VHS.
Yeah, no kidding. Cut. Wait a minute. Rewind.
Yep. Oh, hold on. I gotta get another tape. This one came out. Let me go.
That's right.
I gotta put
This one
tape over
broke.
this. Yeah, I gotta put tape over this VHS so I can tape over my mom's wedding.
Okay, so we got Daddy, the crossbow hunting redneck, who
Yes.
comes into the store,
Yes.
sits down moping, and they're like, the girl walks over to him. I believe Emma
Yes,
walks over to
correct.
him with long hair now. Remember
Yes,
this.
back to her long hair.
now.
She has long hair for
All
the
of a sudden,
rest of the movie, it
mysteriously,
seems.
from one scene to another, her hair mysteriously just shot down her back.
Continuity
Anyway, goes
error
over,
number
tells
2.
the guy, hey, I'm sorry about your daughter. I heard what happened. And he's like, trying to wave her off. And she says,
He just want to hear her shit. He lost his daughter. He just wants to get something to eat so he can go back to not doing anything but bugging the sheriff.
that's it. So he sits down and says, I think what's happening to your daughter might be happening to me.
Yeah.
You know, so she goes back to her place in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Which I originally was asking myself, where the hell are the parents? Until I realized these are sorority girls basically
College girls,
renting a house together. I did
Yeah.
not know this.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, the parents are nowhere to be found. Oh,
Nope.
well, you know. But she's laying there in bed, and this part you should take because you're good with these.
So then the dog, you hear what sounds like a dog coming in.
One of those pasta things.
Yeah, creepypasta. You hear what sounds like the dog. So she hears what sounds like a dog coming in, and she's in her bed, and she puts her arm over the side of the bed to pet the dog, and after that happens, it kind of does like a soft cut to a little later on, and she wakes up with what sounds like the dog licking her hand. She says, you know, stop licking my hand, and then the camera pans over to the right, and you see the dog is actually in the entryway of the door of the room sitting there. So obviously it's the clown that has come in and licked her hand. Why the clown does that, no fucking idea. But I do know that the director put this particular scene in to reference another creepypasta that's also an older one called The Licked Hand. Genius, right? And that goes, a beautiful young girl is left home alone with her only dog to protect her. On the news that night, they announced there is a serial killer on the loose in the area. Before she goes to bed, she locks all the doors and tries to lock all the windows. But the one in the basement won't lock. Of course it's a basement.
Of course
it's a basement, yeah. She decides to leave it unlocked, but locks the basement door and goes to bed.
Why?
Because she's a millennial.
Uh,
Her, her dog takes its customary place under her bed. In the deep of night, she awakens to a dripping sound coming from her bathroom. Half awake, the girl feels the comforting lick from her dog and falls back to sleep. She reawakens to the dripping sound, reaches her hand down to the dog where she feels the reassuring lick and falls back to sleep again. Once again, millennial.
mm-hmm.
Once more, she awakens to the dripping sound. She reaches the hand down and feels the dog lick her hand. Now, normally, most of us, normal, common sense people would get up to see if there was the damn faucet was on or something. Because look,
Yeah.
if that shit's leaking, you're basically wasting money. You're gonna have a high ass water bill.
That's
that
right,
month because
damn it.
that shit leak is cost a
That's
lot.
right, damn it. And with the budget in this movie, you need to go turn off the damn faucet.
Exactly. So, now curious about the dripping sound, she gets up and slowly walks towards the bathroom. The dripping sound gets louder as she approaches. She reaches the bathroom and turns on the light. She is greeted by a horrific sight. Hanging from the shower nozzle is her dog, with its throat slit open and blood dripping into the bathtub.
Now, see, that's rule number one, in my opinion. I don't care. You kill every human in a movie, but you need to leave the dog alone.
Yeah.
Don't kill the dog.
Right.
That pisses me off.
Something on the bathroom mirror catches her eye and she turns around. Written on the wall in her dog's blood are the words, "Humans can lick too," indicating the serial killer was there licking her hand. Why he didn't kill her, I don't know. Why he decided to lick her hand, maybe he's like has some sort of weird fucking fetish.
No.
But that also plays into that scene because in the scene in which I guess was like a dream or whatever, the dog's collar was in the sink covered in blood and some body parts, so it kind of fits
And a
in with that
balloon.
motif. Yeah.
Let's
So
not
again,
forget the balloons.
Again, they reference another creepypasta, which, again, if you're making a movie about a creepypasta, there's no creepypasta involving a Clowntergeist. They just made this up, obviously, but they had to reference other things because they didn't have enough story to fill 80 minutes. So they had to borrow from two creepypastas.
Yeah.
That is sad.
It is very sad.
It's very sad. It sucks.
But, well, like you said, the novice horror movie connoisseur wouldn't notice such things. But your
Right.
experts, the ones who read a lot, who look into this and study it, will be extraordinarily bored by it.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry to say, but, hey.
So then after she wakes up, she freaks out. She can't find the dog. She has a panic attack, wants to call the police. Her friend Heather calms her down. And then what do? They go back to work?
They went
I think
back
the next
to
scene
that
is
thing.
them back at work.
They went back to the ice cream shoppy, I believe.
And is that when the dad comes in and she talks to him?
You know what? I think it might be.
Yeah.
See, look, folks, you have to. We apologize in advance because some of this stuff is so mind-numbing. It basically kind of all runs together. So as long as we get the general gist out there, that's our main point.
So then, so then they're leaving. They decide to have a movie night. They close up. Heather and Emma are leaving, heading back home, and in the middle of the road. No, before that, Emma's driving, talking to Heather in the passenger seat, and as she's talking, there's another quick blare of music, which is supposed to be the jump scare, which is not a jump scare. It's just loud and fucking annoying.
Yep.
Because it's so loud that it annoys the shit out of you. And you see the clown on the side of the road quickly it passes by the clown real quick.
He's just waving.
He's
they
just
there. Drive by him. Yep.
He's just there. He's like, okay, yeah, that whatever. So, but then they pull up. They almost hit what looks. You can't even see it. It's sort of on the bottom of the screen, kind of off screen, but it looks like a rib cage sticking up.
Rib cage.
They get out of the car. And they walk up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is that the sheriff?" And I mean, I guess we're gonna take their word for it because it never actually shows what the fuck is going on.
Pretty much, and it looks like he's just laying there on the ground. He dead.
With a rib
you don't
cage
really
sticking
see him.
out.
You kind of see it. You kind of see a slight hint of the short sleeve piece of crap, blue button down shirt,
security guard shirt. Yeah.
You don't get to see the badge though. That's
Yeah.
too bad. But it does look like somebody had basically separated the rib cage and pulled it up because it's like sticking up like fins.
So then, while they're doing that, all of a sudden, her car fills up with red balloons.
Red balloons.
A hand appears on the steering wheel, and then probably the funniest part of the film happens. The fucking clown carjacks them and takes off with their fucking car. Why the hell? Okay, first of all, that's not scary.
Not at all.
That's funny.
Yeah.
In what world does carjacking make a killer spirit clown scary?
Yep.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
Serious Jack in the Box.
Takes the fucking car, and then what the fuck happens after that? So he ends up back at oh my gosh, all of a sudden
I love the way this flows, man.
Oh my gosh, so all of a sudden you're back at their house, and you look down their hallway. The shot is down the hallway, and you see the door at the end. There's a green light on it. And then all of a sudden, the fucking ribcage the clown comes in, and he's bent over, and he's flailing his arms like he's got fucking scoliosis,
and walking bow-legged,
and making the ring girl sound. And you're like, okay, that's not scary. It looks like he needs medical help.
Yes, he's rocking a serious case of the roids, ladies and gentlemen.
And
serious.
He walks in the frame, and then to the first door on the right. He actually has to physically open it with his hand. He opens the knob and opens it and then kind of sconters in and then closes the door. And you're like, first of all, why the fuck does a poltergeist need to physically open the door with his hand?
This is probably a good time to bring this point up. It says Clowntergeist, so you assume there's spirit activity, which there are hints of it here and there. But the clown, which... Actually, we're going to hold off on that part.
Yeah, let's hold off on that part until we get to the end.
Yet.
But at the same time, let's also mention the fact that if you look at the cover, the artwork for this movie,
yes,
there is a pretty good looking. It's not even a person. It's a painting, a drawing, a digital artwork representation of the clown
with short hair.
He's got this very short, tiny hair on the sides.
They seem to have a hair continuity problem with this movie because he's got short little cut off hair.
He looks very menacing. He looks very, very evil on the cover. But then when you see him, he's got horrible long, like almost fucking.
He's got like homeless hair,
string hair. Yeah, it's like all around. It's super long, and his makeup looks nothing like the artwork. For the movie, and his clothing just looks like, I mean, I get he's a clown, but it's just no indication that he's either a poltergeist or a killer clown, just that he's a fucking clown.
And quite a bad one at that.
Yeah. So then after that, the friend, the boss, whatever, shows up at the house for movie night.
Yep.
And walks into the house down the hallway, and there's this very long, just boring scene of him going from one door to another, and every door he opens is a different color, like some sort of Tim Burton film.
Tim Burton, or not to insult my old favorite, but if you've ever run down a hall in an episode of Star Trek with the purple, then the green, then the blue, then the red, the alternating colored lights.
Yeah, and thankfully they don't put any music during this, so the silence does build a little bit of tension, but at the same time, you know he's gonna get got, so you don't care. You're just wondering why the fuck it's taking so long, because he goes into like 3 fucking doors.
Yeah,
And then the clown finally jumps out, and there's another stock jump scare sound effect, which is loud and obnoxious, not at all scary.
Of course.
And the scene cuts, and then the girls show up at the house, having walked all the way there apparently, because the clown took the car to the house.
Yep.
And they find him tied up to a chair.
Tied up to a chair. Not dead.
Not dead.
But
Why
tied
would-
up to a chair.
Again, why would he take the boy, tie him to a chair instead of kill him? Makes no fucking sense at all. So,
None.
after that, what happens after that?
Basically, I think this is where, let's see, Emma takes off in a crap transition scene.
That's
no explanation
She
whatsoever.
takes off. That's right.
She just takes off driving down the road, and she stops to see dead girl number one, actually the only victim I think we've actually seen in this movie that actually died and stayed dead.
Well, the sheriff was there too.
Oh, the sheriff, that is
Sheriff
true.
showed up.
That is true. I stand corrected.
But, and then,
You know, she sees dead girl number one, she drops in the road, then she's summarily attacked in the car by the clown.
who does nothing but just knocks her head against the steering wheel.
Push it against the steering wheel, she goes, oh my god, and then what happens?
Her friend shows up.
Out of nowhere. She's
Heather
been
shows up.
driving, and she's out in the middle of where, and all of a sudden Heather sticks her face in the car. Whoa.
Oh my gosh, we
What are you
found you.
doing?
And then gets in, and then they're hugging, blah, 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 bullshit. And
And then
they pull
naturally,
away.
it's a dream
It's a dream, and
sequence.
Heather's all covered in black goo, and then Heather knocks her friend's head against the thing, and she lights out.
Lights out, and then the next morning, Ice Cream Creepy Dude Pops shows up in a panel van ice cream truck. Mind you, there is no service window. There are no windows. And, you know, this is an ice cream vehicle.
I don't see any freezer.
I don't see any freezer. You're just waiting for them to say free ice cream on the side and stalk little kitties. You know, it's just little weird.
He gives her a ride home because her car is dead, and
Yep.
we're in the driveway talking, and apparently the clown is in the back.
Yep.
And grabs a box of popsicles, which are not in the freezer, just sitting in the box out. Knocks him over,
Yep.
startles her, and then she gets out of the car, and he proceeds to clean up the popsicles out of the back of the... Again, leading to... I don't know who the fuck... I'm sure I can easily look. I'm not going to, but the person who did the sound design or the sound mixing is absolutely horrible, because every sound effect, from a car door opening and closing, to him putting the ice cream in the box, to an empty cup down on a table, sounds super loud, whereas the dialogue, all the dialogue is super low, and you can't hear it, but every single sound effect is way too high.
Yeah, I think they got a first year media student.
I think so. And so he's in the back, and he's putting the ice cream back in the box, which is very loud and sounds very hollow. And then all of a sudden, the clown shows up and takes the ice cream truck. But that's the last you see of it until later. Mm-hmm. And then
They return to the house,
where
they go inside. They're sitting there talking, trying to figure out what to do. And then our boy the clown shows up in midday. Midday.
That's right.
Midday. Rocking the roids again, walking all bow-legged, hurting, left arm all dicked up.
Very
I don't know
slowly,
what the hell.
walking very slowly. And he corners him in the kitchen, which leads to another one of the funniest scenes in the fucking thing. He corners him in the kitchen, and as he's walking up and he's about to reach where Emma is, which actually he already reached her, but whatever. All of a sudden you hear the sound of glass breaking, and then he fucking scurries away in a monkey run.
Like a scalded ape,
Like
man.
a monkey. What the hell is wrong with this clown demon?
But he runs off, but I don't understand it, because he comes right back. And a struggle ensues, of course. He goes after the manager dude.
Yeah.
I don't even know the guy's name, and I don't really care at this point.
Yeah, I don't care either.
He's an asshole. Anyway, well, the clown attacks him.
An asshole.
He's just a douche. Anyway, struggle ensues, and the clown comes after him. So he tries to take him out with a Swiffer.
Right, yeah.
Not a good plan.
Like,
clown bats it away, throws him on the ground, and proceeds to puke chocolate cake batter in his face. Which, first of all, it gets in his face, and his mouth is wide open. It's like,
he opens his mouth,
but he opens his mouth wider and actually sticks his tongue out as if to say, "Give me some more, give me some more,
give me all that
Frickin'
chocolate
nasty.
batter, give me your cream."
And then all of a sudden, booyah! We get a crossbow arrow. in the back.
First, actually, he lets him go, and then he grabs Emma
Ah, that's right.
And as he's holding Emma, that's when the crossbow hits him. But again, let's point out the fact that he's there in the middle of the daytime. He's obviously a physical being. He grabs the boy and then grabs the girl, but he does not do anything other than puking. But he doesn't do anything, doesn't harm them in any way, doesn't rip out their face, doesn't rip off their arm. Nothing. Has them in his grasp. Nothing. Now I get that with Emma, he's supposed to. He had a time set for some reason, but I guess he just can't kill her until that time. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's never explained why.
Knows?
But so then the crossbow, bam, hits him right in the back.
Hits him in the back. He goes down, and then you see another crossbow hit him in the gut.
It's the dad.
It's the dad.
Finally cornered him, and instead of sitting a crossbow straight into the guy's brain, to the clown's brain.
Yeah.
He goes for another chest shot.
Okay, and then we transition to another hideously boring scene of dialogue in the ice cream shop.
Right,
Everybody's yap.
They think the guy's dead, the killer's dead, they're
Dude,
safe.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, all that
bullshit.
And then here we go back to Emma's bedroom again, which is similar to the scene from earlier in the movie.
Correct.
But this time, our boy Ribcage is actually
shows up
in the house.
He knocks on the window first, makes these all weird fucking hand movements, like makes these hand movements with his hand, and then like
throwing up gang signs.
Yeah,
hey, what's up?
And then does the gun towards the door, and it's like, yep. And then he like drifts away from the window, and then and then all of a sudden the door.
But wait, Chris. Does she leave?
No.
Does she get up?
She still lays there in bed.
She's
and then
laying there with the clown-proof sheets.
The door handle turns, it opens, and instead of getting up and running out like a smart-ass person, she decides to get back on the bed, stay on the bed.
That's it.
And just cover herself and with her eyes closed and pray to the good Lord that nothing's going to happen. Even though by this point, it's very clear that the clown is not in her brain, in her mind. It's not her imagination.
Nope.
It's very much real.
He's in the house.
And the fact that she saw him outside the window and then that she saw the door open should be an indicator that he is there. So instead of leaving, her dumb ass just closes her eyes and hopes that he won't actually appear. But what's he do?
He shows up in the damn room.
And he jumps up on the bed like a monkey.
Top of her.
Like a monkey again.
Then we have the screechy, horrible, out-of-tune violin
another
squall.
Stock jump scare sound effect. The same one they've actually used like 3 times by now in this film. And it's so fucking annoying.
And you can just see you can tell by the frustration in her voice, guys. We're having fun tearing this thing up, but it's just freaking horrible.
They used it 3 times already. It's so annoying. It's not at all scary. It is absolutely ridiculous.
And then Emma wakes up, tied up again. Again, no death.
Nope.
Tied up in a chair in a basement, being treated to a lovely candlelit dinner with Ribcage down in the basement. He brings this balloon that's full of something and pops it in this lovely plate of what looks like
dog tartare
or something of that
canine
nature.
tartare.
Which, that still pisses me off. You don't fuck with the dog.
Yeah.
You kill the people, don't mess with the dog. But anyway, starts shoving meat down her throat. And then out of nowhere,
just
her buddy Heather, Heather, shows up again.
How they found her, I have no idea.
And walking slow.
Taking her sweet time with a bat in her hand.
She got a bat in her hand, and she walks up pathetically slow. Instead of taking a swing, he does a karate wax on, wax off maneuver. Grabs her arm, twists it, knocks her down, and then what does he do? He just runs fuck off.
He runs off.
This clown is gutless.
In his domain, he has one of them tied up, and he runs the fuck off. Again, I say, why?
I don't have any idea. For a horror movie, there's not a whole lot of horror.
There are no rules.
There's no death, hardly.
There's no instructions. There's no plot. There's no... It's just a series... It's a series of individual scenes that they somehow edited together to make it seem like a somewhat of a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. Well, then, one thing I did find interesting in the kitchen scene before this was the fact that the clown, supposedly a spirit, was bleeding when he was shot. So I was like, what?
Yeah, there was a bit of blood coming out.
So forward to our next scene, which is we end up in the ice cream shop yet again.
Yep.
With our friend Ribcage choking the old dude, Pops.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At this time, you don't know what's going on. You're like, why the hell is he choking him? And then he yells at the clown, and he releases him.
Yep.
He yells something like recluse or something. Some weird word, and the clown releases him. So we're like, okay, so this clown has a safe word. It's like, holy shit,
Banana.
Banana, yeah, exactly.
Cream pie. Seltzer bottle.
Well, anyway, it is now discovered that this clown is an actual person.
Yes.
Possessed by a demonic spirit, which
Yes.
gives him the powers that he has of freak outness or whatever the hell you want to call
Monkey
it. Monkey running.
Just
roid walking.
all kinds of weird powers that I've never ever heard of or seen in another demonic possession movie.
And to briefly just summarize, it's just a series of idiotic scenes running around the diner, and including a take on the Raptor Kitchen scene from Jurassic Park, which I found to be pretty stupid. I was like, no, he's not going to jump up on it. And he jumps up on the fucking
on the counter, just like the Raptors.
Just like the Raptors.
Yep.
And she goes to grab a spoon. You're like, come on. Are you kidding me? She's going to bang against the thing. She doesn't bang the ladle against the damn side of the refrigerator. She actually throws it to try to distract our lovely friend, Mr.
McRib.
And actually throws the ladle right at her other friend underneath the table who's hiding. Worst friend ever.
Sending McRib right into the path of her friend Heather.
Comes after her, but it's okay, because after a brief struggle, and yet he runs off again, chasing Emma yet again, and then Emma comes back into the dining room, evading said clown.
Yes.
And is crawling on the ground, and gets paid back in kind when Heather
Who's
rams
alive.
a box knife. Who is alive?
Who is alive.
Remember, once again, no death.
No death.
Takes a box cutting knife and jams it about 3 inches into her femur.
Yes. Spouting off some throwaway line about having narrowly escaped being killed by birdcage at the last minute.
Well, see, the thing is, and then they start whining like a couple of bratty teenagers who had their phones taken away.
Yeah.
Never mind the demonically possessed attack clown that's chasing them around the frickin' ice cream store.
So it ends up being Pops. Pops is the one that's controlling it. He has been controlling him for 30 years apparently. The clown is a demon possessed actual person.
Yep.
Which, as you mentioned, again lends no reason or credence why the word Geist is in there, because it has nothing to do with his current condition. He's not a poltergeist. He's not a Geist. He's just a demon possessed clown. Geist should not be a part of the title. It should not be a part of any of it. I don't know if Aaron Mertes just didn't understand what a Geist was, didn't do research, whatever, but it should not be a part of this title at all.
Yeah, that's almost painful. So,
and he takes Emma aside and tells her that he's doing that because he's trying to help people over their fear of clowns. But when they don't get over it, they get killed because they're at peace. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, you're terrified of clowns, so we're going to put one outside your window, and he's going to jump on your bed, and he's going to do this. And we don't want you to be scared, But anyway, clown gets his in the end, of course.
Gets his. The old man kills himself.
Yep, the old man kills himself. She takes a knife and hacks old rib cage to McBits.
Yeah, turns McRib into McBits. And then
the credits roll.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Done.
Thank God.
Yeah.
It ended. But like I said, it fits right in with our concept. We're trying to encourage people to watch these garbage movies because they even, they all need love.
So, James, what is your final score for this?
Oh my God.
This movie.
This here is a 4.5 turd for me. See, like I said, I'm saving it for that one special. My 5 turd, I'm saving that for something super, super special.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to have plenty of 5 turds.
The only thing keeping me from a 5 turd this time was the fact that the camera work was actually half-ass decent, except for the one scene when the camera was in the hall and somebody obviously kicked it.
Oh, yeah. There's a scene in the hallway where the camera rocks, even though there's nobody.
It's hilarious. You hear
nobody near the camera,
and they didn't edit it out. Plus, there was one little shot where there was a timestamp that showed up.
Yeah, there's timestamp.
Hilarious.
Briefly, a green timestamp shows up. They didn't edit it. So bad editing skills.
So for me, 4.5 turds and a couple of pebbles. Okay. It was close to 5 turds for me because this was really
some dingleberries.
This was hard for me to watch. It really was.
I'm gonna go 4 as well. The only thing that keeps it from being a 5 are a couple of funny scenes in which, like you mentioned, the clown doing the monkey run was absolutely fucking hilarious. The clown jacking the car was absolutely fucking hilarious. The cinematography was decent compared to what we've seen before. The story made no sense though. The rules made no sense. The acting was terrible. The script was absolutely non-existent, and the flow was horrible. And Ribcage himself is the worst. I think we officially met the worst clown killer in cinema history.
And I thought Fucko was bad. But
Yeah.
you know what? Fucko is a superstar compared to this guy.
Fucko is John Wayne Gacy compared to this guy. Fucko is just leaps and bounds ahead of this guy. So the only thing that keeps it from being a 4 are those 2 scenes. They're just so absolutely funny. Yep. Keep it from being a 5 is those 2 scenes. Absolutely funny. Worth the watch. Definitely check it out. Get some friends together. Don't play a drinking game because there's nothing enough in here to play a drinking game with.
Not really. But maybe be drunk when you watch it. You might actually get a kick out of it.
Some sort of drug when you're on it. Doesn't matter what it is, but yeah, it's definitely worth checking out once. And at that point, remove it from your queue, and then continue doing your drugs to remove it from your mind.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Hit the blunt.
Yes.
You know, you gotta get you a blunt full of skunk and what I guess you smoke smoke the blues away. You know.
Yeah. Toke it till you forget it.
That's it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, again, you can find us on Facebook.
Absolutely.
One Suck Podcast.
Yes.
Come join the Facebook page. We are on Spotify, Castbox, iTunes. We'll be on Twitter soon and Instagram.
Instagram, yes, we will
soon.
be. We will get those up and running pretty soon. And
All
we
right.
thank you for the support.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And
Appreciate
we will
it.
See you next time.
See you guys. Have fun.
Peace.